Hello, my fellow speakers for the dead. I'm coming to you today with another video. I am Brian, the speaker for the dead, and I'd like to just begin by saying a huge welcome to the new subscribers that have come to my channel, and a thank you to all those who are my old subscribers who've been here from the beginning. I am indeed grateful for all the time and attention that you give to me, and I know there's a big amount of options out there. So to have you subscribe to me is it really is an amazing thing, and I am grateful for that. So I wanted to start that off, this video off with that today. Now this video is going to be a follow-up video to one that I have done just recently on global climate change. The reason I felt like I needed to revisit this is because there were some aspects that I didn't really get to cover in my original video that I felt like I needed to cover, and to just have that opportunity to sit down and talk with you about it. Because I don't want anybody to get the impression that I'm anti-environmentalism or I'm anti-clean water and air and stuff. I know that some people on, I guess what you could say is my side of the argument, go to the extreme just to basically poke these psychos and the psycho-environmentalists in the eye. You know, be like, well, I'm going to go out and start my car and burn some extra gas and turn my air conditioner down to 7, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, you know. And I've caught myself saying those same things because it is satisfying. Just to feel like you're tweaking these people who want to control and run and manipulate your life. And, I mean, let's be honest. That's what these people are trying to do. They're trying to control and manipulate our lives. They want to tell you what temperature you can keep your house. They want to tell you how far you can drive your car, what you can do, what kind of fuel you can put in your car, where you can get your electricity from. It's all about control. This is not about the environment, because if it was about the environment, they would be approaching this completely different. They would not be trying to use the government to do this. They'd be trying to, one, start businesses that would make recycling easier, would make it more profitable, would make it a better option than throwing stuff away. And that's why I don't recycle very much and stuff, because they've made it so awful to actually do. And you get nothing for it other than, oh, a warm feeling inside. While the companies that are doing all this recycling, they're making money. They're making big profits off people's good motives. And I'm sorry, that's just as frustrating as the big corporations that are supposedly polluting the earth. So, I mean, let's get real. Let's get honest about what this is. This is just a power grab. This is just people wanting to control and manipulate your lives and use the government to do it. It's just another socialist stupidity thing that started back with the communists when they realized they couldn't get into America through their normal ways. So they all kind of filed into the green movement, you know, just because, hey, it's another primary color. Maybe we'll go over to the green instead of the red. You know, now it make me sound like a conspiracy theorist, but it's the truth. That's where a lot of them went, because they want big government control and power and manipulation and running of the companies and corporations and government control over everything. Does that sound like a group of people you know? Sounds just like the climate people. Huh, funny. Funny that they have the same agenda and the same motives, and most of the people in the green movement, if you ask them what kind of government is best, guess what they'll tell you? Not capitalism. They'll tell you, oh, the Soviet Union, they were very good at this kind of stuff. Bernie Sanders. You know, I mean, it's just it's the same thing over and over again. They just used a different means to get into the country. Anyway, so the thing that's been bothering me about this most, because I believe that there needs to be change within the energy industry, that I think it would be great if we could get off, and I'm not going to call it fossil fuels because it has nothing to do with fossils. That was a misunderstanding that we had a long time ago, and people still use that term. Dinosaurs did not turn into petroleum. That's not how that works. That's just nonsense. But the thing is that we need to understand that to move forward, we have to make these energy solutions work. Windmills don't work. Okay, they're big, they cost a lot of money, they're expensive to maintain, and the energy that they produce is unreliable and is not enough to sustain the expense to put up the windmills. It's not. It's a false thing. It's just like solar. Solar, I think, has great potential, but like until they get it sorted out so that you can, so that you can put a little panel on top of your car and run your electric car on that, plus maybe have some battery reserve, then it's not feasible. Until you can replace current technology with alternative solutions that are as good or better, people aren't going to listen to you. And they shouldn't listen to you, because you want them to give up what they have for something that's not as good and that is more polluting than the current technologies that we have. Electric cars, it's one of the biggest scams in the world. The batteries are extremely toxic. The mining process to actually create an electric car, it produces more greenhouse gas than it does to produce a diesel or gasoline powered car. The electric cars are way worse. Right off the showroom floor, if you measure the carbon output, it's higher for the electric vehicle. And then once that electric vehicle is out, it's a coal-powered car. Because that's where 80 to 90% of our electric power comes from, is coal, natural gas, what you would call the fossil fuels. It comes from that. So you're using coal power to charge your batteries for your electric green car. Okay? Because until you have until you've got a solar panel sitting out there charging your car, you're not helping the problem. And what happens if, say tomorrow, we get rid of all the coal-fired power plants? Guess what? Rolling blackouts, unsustainable power grids, people dying in the summer from heat exposure because there's no air conditioning. We're going to have to turn back the clock like 500 years if we want to do what these people are suggesting. Like AOC and all them crazy people, they live in a fairy tale world because they'll expect us to live by these new standards, but they're not going to. You think AOC and all those Democrats and Republicans and whoever else, you think they're going to go backwards? No. You think they're not going to cool their offices in the summer? Oh, hell no. They work for the people. We've got to be cool so we can do the business of the people. Well, what about the people? Oh, they understand. They understand that, we may have to let a few of them die from heat stroke, the elderly, the children, and the infirm. But that's okay, because it's all worth it to save the earth. No. But the worst thing is this current trend that is really bothering me. And I meant to say this on my other video and didn't get a chance to, so I wanted to do it now. So let's just pull up my problem. Oh, yes. You all know her. You all love her. Greta Thunberg. I don't know how she pronounces her name, and I don't care. Now, I want you to look at this face. Is this a normal 16-year-old's face? You know what? I don't think I ever looked like this when I was 16. I was a lot happier person. And this is the problem. This is the face of someone who has been manipulated. This is the face of a victim of indoctrination and propaganda. She's been told the world's going to end and that it's all our faults and blah, blah, blah. And, oh, there's this scientific data. But she's been sheltered from the truth that the scientific data she's being fed isn't accurate, isn't complete, isn't conclusive. But you can convince a child about anything. Now, depending on when the indoctrination from her parents or school or whoever did this to her started, she is completely buffaloed. And the problem is, this is happening to a lot of our kids. And a lot of us don't even realize that this is being done to our kids. When they go to school, when they get exposed to other people that we're not aware of them being around, their teachers are telling them global warming's real. It's fact. It's a consensus. Al Gore said so. Yeah, Yeah, that man is one of the world's biggest hypocrites ever, as he flies around the world in a private jet to go talk about how bad it is to fly around in private jets. He has a gigantic mansion that he's hardly ever at, that has a heated pool, heated rooms, heated everything. It's air conditioned whether he's there or not. Yeah, really conscious there, Al. My goodness, you're not a hypocrite or anything. Yeah, and see, that's the problem. All these people that are touting this green energy crap, yeah, none of them live up to. If they were serious about this, they would go out of their way to not do all the things they're saying are so bad. But half of them still eat meat, which is supposedly one of the worst things you can do because it creates a huge amount of methane and carbon dioxide and stuff in the production of beef and sheep and and cattle. So you better be giving up meat right away, right? Don't ever eat it again. And all those farmers and all those ranchers and stuff you're going to put out of business, just remember, it's all for the little people. Yeah. Well, and then, not just that, but then are they all driving electric cars? Oh, no. They're driving big armored SUVs. Are they riding around in electrical planes? Nope. Still flying around the world in petroleum-fueled airplanes or jets. So, I mean, these people are hypocrites. They run around the world promoting their ideology and then absolutely not living by it the rest of the time because they don't care about it. They don't care about it. They're not off the grid. They're not running on solar powers or solar-powered houses. No, they're using the same power that you and I are based on coal and petroleum. So I don't know how they get away with this baloney, but I mean, look at this face. This is the face of a crazy person who's been misled her whole life. I feel bad for her because she will never have a normal life because of what's been done to her. And how many other kids are having this done to them? So, I mean, it's just scary. But I mean, here's a little picture for you. I mean, this is this is after Donald Trump's UN speech, and she was in the same room, and he walked in behind her. Look at the face. Look at her face. She is livid that he didn't walk over and talk to her like she's important. She's a 16-year-old girl, and she's not even a member of the country that he's the leader of. I don't see Sweden being the number one source for green energy, green companies, green technologies. So, I mean, how dare someone from Sweden come over here and lecture the United States, which we do more to try and limit our emissions and to clean up our environment than any other country out there. We far surpass a lot of the other first world nations in trying to be a cleaner nation. And a lot of it that doesn't even need to be done the way it's being done because we're being controlled by a bunch of Looney Tunes. And she's just the latest victim being used by those Looney Tunes to try and get us to all get on board because of the children. It's pathetic. But I wanted to show you a little video here. Now, this is from The Guardian. But this is, so I would just want you guys to be able to watch this clip because I want you to see the craziness of what's going on here. This is actual video. So there's little Miss Crazy. And did you see the change in her face? She was all excited looking at him, and then the second she saw him and that he was going to ignore her, yeah, there's the face. There's the face. And in my opinion, Donald Trump did exactly the right thing. Exactly the right thing. Because that's what you should do to a 16-year-old who's been given way more attention than she ever should have been given. Because she's foolish. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She's been misled by a bunch of goofballs who are just trying to use her. And if he'd walked over and gave her the time of day, he would have legitimized her craziness and all the stupid things that she's out there saying. So, like I say, I'm not Donald Trump's biggest fan, but kudos to him on this. Like I said, I support President Trump in what he's doing. I don't like him as a person. But he's been a pretty good president. He's been a lot better president than what I thought he was going to be. So I'll give him that much. I did not want him, and I didn't vote for him. I wanted somebody else from the Republican Party, but he's been pretty good. And I think he's done things that nobody else would have done because he just doesn't care. He's just going to do what he thinks is right and what he promised he was going to do. And I mean, when was the last time we had a politician that actually did that? I can't remember. So yeah, there's a little Miss Crazy upset. But you know what? This reminds me of another situation. You remember these? These are the Parkland Kids. Another group of useful idiots. Now these kids were part of and were witness to a terrible tragedy. And my heart goes out to them for that. But for what they did afterwards, yeah, not at all. I don't sympathize with them at all. Because these foolish, ignorant little 12-year-olds, and they weren't 12, but went out there and started trying to tell us how we should be. These kids don't know anything about life yet. These kids haven't even seen true hardship and heartache. Now, they've been through a traumatic experience, absolutely yes. But there is worse to be experienced in life. Just ask all the people that were ever killed under communism and socialism once their guns were taken away and the governments rolled in there and took control. Ask all the Jews in Germany how they feel about socialism when they were put into camps and killed by a socialist dictator. Hitler, socialist. Everybody tries to make him out to be, he's a conservative. That's a conservative point of view. No, it wasn't. He was a socialist. And he was at war with the communists because they were at war over over minuscule problems in their ideology and stuff. But they're just as bad. They're just two sides of the same coin. But these kids, useful idiots, just drugged before the cameras, propped up, and everybody was supposed to listen to these 15-year-olds tell us how we're supposed to be. Useful idiots. Because there were other kids that were part of the Parkland shooting that did not agree with these kids. Came out and said, no, we do not agree. We are not with those people. I don't want you guys to take away people's rights, and I don't blame the guns. I blame the person who was pulling the trigger. You remember their names? I don't either, because we've never heard from them again. Oh, no. No, they were pushed into the side and relegated. And, that's nice, sweetie. We know you're part of this tragedy, but just go over there and sit down. No, I know you wanted us to listen to you too, but you don't fit our narrative. So just get your ass over there and sit down. And that's what the media did to them, to prop up these little retards. Because these kids were spewing the things that would get them what they want, gun control. Isn't it amazing? Every time a tragedy happens, the media and the Democrats jump on it and go, see. Pathetic. It's pathetic. And I feel bad for these kids because they're being used to create a world that once it's created, they will never be listened to again. They will be relegated to obscurity and told, shut up, sit down, you got us here, but that's all we wanted out of you. Because that's what kind of people we're dealing with. So I believe, and I am a conservationist, but I believe in clean air, clean water, doing it the right way, but I do not believe in doing it through manipulation and control. I do not believe that you do it so that you empower government. The problem is that government and corporations are in bed together pretending that they're not. And that's the thing we should all be scared of. So don't let these people manipulate you, and don't believe all the crap they're saying, because that's exactly what it is. It is absolute crap. These people are hypocrites and scumbags who will not live by their own rules once they're set. In public they will, but behind the scenes, not even close. These kids are not. These people, these environmentalists, these global warming people, they're not going to live by their own rules. And why we should listen to scientists who have a vested interest in keeping the climate change scare going, because it fosters their grants and their things. Give me a scientist who is not being controlled by some corporation or some government or by their own private interests, and I'll listen. And I've listened to many different critics of global warming, and And I'll admit, I think maybe there is a little bit of truth to it, but I don't think it's mankind causing it. Now, do we need to clean up our act and do better? Yeah, sure. But like I said, give me real technologies that work. Give me an electric car that isn't made of batteries that are toxic and foul, and that give me a solar car. Why aren't we using hydrogen fuel cell technology? That is a pure green energy source. Clean energy. I hate the term green energy. It is a clean energy source. You use the hydrogen that's made from the process of nuclear reactors, and then you put the hydrogen in a tank. It runs through a system where the hydrogen and oxygen are put back together, and which creates an electrical charge. That charge is then taken off and used and stored in batteries, and then it powers cars, and it is very powerful. And the only byproduct of the process is water. Pure water. Now tell me that's not a pure, clean technology. And why are we not going full board crazy after that? Because it's all based as a byproduct of nuclear energy, which is also clean energy, by the way, especially the way they do it now. They have processes by which, by the time they get done with the radioactive material, it's inert. There's nothing left. It's not harmful or bad at all. It's just an inert thing, just like any soil. So why aren't we pursuing these real technologies that are available? Because they don't fit somebody's agenda. They don't line the pockets of these people who are touting windmills and solar energy. They have a vested interest in seeing these technologies get put into place, and in deals in things like cap and trade, which will destroy every economy around the world and send us back to the dark ages. It will tax everybody and everything so heavily. It's just a big steal the population of the world's money and transfer it back to the governments. I mean, they're all in on it, and it's disgusting. And nobody's talking about it. And I mean, and I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but it doesn't take a wizard to look around and go, well, who benefits? Where does the money go? What happens to that? I'm pretty quick. It all makes sense. So anyway, I wanted to do a quick follow-up video because I don't hate these kids, and I don't blame them, other than blame them for being useful idiots that have been indoctrinated by education systems and by parents and people who are clueless about how the world really works. And if we follow along with what they want to do, we're not going to like the place we get to. But I'm afraid it's going to have to come to something very unfortunate before we wake up and turn away from this nonsense. And thankfully, we have a president right now who's not paying attention to these people and who's just walking away and making them look like the fools standing off in the corner that they deserve to look like. Absolutely. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you to all my subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. And if you'll get out there and share my videos, if you think there's merit to them, I'd appreciate it. Get out there, have yourselves a great day, and we will talk to you next time. Bye now.